Welcome once again to The Sage. Last week, we embarked on this forthcoming series, which I discussed. We talked about the fact that our people continue to suffer, that millions of Nigerians, because of the unprecedented inflation and rise in the cost of living, are unable to look after themselves and their families. But we were unequivocal in saying that they seem to be becoming a silent, unnoticed majority. That is morally and ethically unjustifiable. We are, as a country, in danger of moving on and choosing, and I purposely use the word choosing to forget that they exist, choosing to forget that they are suffering. But they are suffering. And it is tragic, because by and large, they are the ones with the least power in this country. Power, because their suffering is huge. They can't eat, they can't feed their family. Their day, they wake up in a fog of depression and desperation because of the fact that they don't know where the next meal is going to come for themselves and their families. They suffer, but they are powerless to do anything about it. They do not have even the power to come outside and protest. And so they live in their abject misery, with no hope and no knowledge about when it will end. And we say here on The Sage that for these very reasons, it is unethical, it is a moral, I don't know the word to use, abomination perhaps, to move on and forget them. We as a people, as a nation, must never do that. The very, very spiritual and indeed physical existence of our country may well lie in that fact, because posterity will judge us if we forget them and move on to business as usual. We must be our brother's keeper. We call with all passion to government and our leaders to do something and do it fast. Whatever it is that is being done, to accelerate it with the urgency it deserves, so that the issues can be addressed, so that the inflation can come down, so that people will be catered for, so that people will be able to feed themselves and their families. When I say it is a moral aberration, let me say that, whether we would like it or not, as human beings on this earth, we are an interconnected people. Our very sustained joy and happiness can only last if it extends to many others around us. No man can be an island. You and your family cannot exist happy and prosperous if the vast majority of people around you are suffering. And so, yes, we are an interconnected people. Real progress in our country, Nigeria, can only be real and can only be sustained if the vast majority of our people share in that progress. If we as a people care for one another. In other words, if we are a people of compassion. If we find ways and work hard so that we are a nation of compassion. Compassion because we care for one another. There is no other way. That is the way the good Lord made heaven and earth. And no matter what we choose to think or do, that is the only way to joy and indeed peace and prosperity on this planet. You know, everything we do affects others. I say with boldness that even the deepest thoughts you have, that you think are secret and deep inside you, has the power and potential to affect others outside of you. It is from your thoughts that actions emanate. So, happiness and wealth is not something we can hope to cling to and forget the welfare of others and be happy. We owe it as a duty to look after one another. In the series we shall be unfolding on the sage, we are going to show concretely how that can be done. We are going to do our best to demonstrate that this job of compassion in our country for each other is a duty that belongs to each and every one of us. Not just our government, not just the rich, not just the politicians. No. Each and every one of us, no matter how little or no matter how much you have, is a part of this journey of hope towards becoming a country of compassion. And we say that it isn't just about hoping. It has to be a living hope. We live our hope when we do something positive towards achieving that hope. You know, God loves us. I've made the point in the past that God loves this country. I jokingly said in one of the previous programs that the day the Lord created Nigeria, He was in a very good mood, assuming that God has moods. And He blessed us abundantly with every resource you can imagine. Mineral, human, name it. We don't have, is it weather, clemency of weather? We don't have extreme weathers. We don't have earthquakes. We don't have massive floods. We don't have. And yet, we're one of the poorest countries in the world. And yet, We're one of the countries with the largest number of people living below the poverty line. You see, the good Lord has done everything for us, except perhaps to come down and take over leading our country and asking us to follow him. These things have to be said. And on this particular show, this episode, we have the privilege of the creative talents of a beautiful young man. A young man so gifted by God, not just in terms of his ability to create music and to sing it beautifully, but the purity of his own heart. Because it is from a pure heart beautiful things come. And so Chinedu Ugu had blessed us in the past on the stage with a song when we made our call of action. A song saying a great deal of what we're saying on this episode. And therefore I'm asking us, sit down please, our audience, with patience and listen to the beautiful rendition by Chinedu Ugu.
Walking through the ashes of dreams we left behind, building walls between us in the corners of our minds. We've lost the love we're owed, the kindness we've misplaced, but the hope is in our hands to rewrite this broken space. So lift the veil and clear the smoke. The cracks will mend where hearts are broke. We're stronger when we reach across. No more sinking in the loss. The light ahead, it's not too far. If we become the change we are, look beyond the shadows cast. We'll build a future made to last. If we become the change we are. The land our father saved is being sold off piece by piece. Leaders count their riches while the hunger never sleeps. The dreams they promised us have faded in their lives, but the power's in our hearts to reclaim what's been denied. So lift the veil and clear the smoke. The cracks will mend where hearts are broke. We're stronger when we reach across. No more sinking in the loss. The light ahead, it's not too far. If we become the change we are, look beyond the shadows cast. Let's build a future made to last. If we become the change we are. Become the change we are. Oh, the light ahead, it's not too far. If we become the change we are. Oh, so lift the veil and clear the smoke. The cracks will mend where hearts are broke. We're stronger when we reach across. No more sinking in the change we are. Look beyond the shadows cast. We'll build a future made to last. If we become the change we are.
Wasn't that amazing? Every sentence, every phrase, everything in his song addressed that issue. The issue of working together in hope, but living hope. Hope that takes action to make things better for one another. Because that is the only real and sustainable road to progress. And so we ask the good Lord to bless him and bless us as we hope and say to you, our audience, that you will go back over and over again and listen again to his beautiful rendition. But as I move on to this issue of loving, caring, making our hope journey real, I had cause of recent to also reflect on one of the most potentially powerful songs, words that guide or should guide our country, should guide the way we relate and think and work for the progress of this country. I speak of no other than our recently readopted national anthem. You know, I come of the age block for whom, as we grew, that was the national anthem. And as I grew up into a young adult, I thought it was profound and treasured it so much. Later, for many of our, perhaps our younger viewers, it was changed to a new anthem. But that is one thing that I am profoundly grateful to this present leadership is perhaps the resurrection of the old anthem. Why do I say that? Humor me. Allow me to read the lyrics, the words. I wish I could sing. If God had blessed me a bit more with more of a voice, perhaps I'll have rendered it myself on the set for you today. But seriously, give me the pleasure of reading the words of our present national anthem. Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all, we are all Nigerians and are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be our symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hand on to our children a banner without stain. And then the anthem turns to an obvious prayer. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. And so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. It said it all. It says it all. If each Nigerian, every Nigerian, wakes up every morning, and before you come out of bed, you remember particularly some of these last sentences of our national anthem. That is what an anthem is supposed to be. It's supposed to guide a nation. We oppress no man. God blesses us with peace and plenty, plentiful. That is what we're asking. And indeed, that is the only way God will bless us. If we do not achieve peace for the majority of our people, if we do not achieve abundance, plenty for the majority of our people, we're in no position to ask God to bless us. How can He bless us? I ask us to reflect on this prayer that is our anthem, which we must not take lightly, and to which God will hold us account. There are many of us praying, and we wonder why we think He hasn't come to our help. But I make bold, with all due respect to the Almighty, I say we have not held up to the end of our own bargain. We must oppress no one. We must make our plentiful abundance available to the majority of our people. This, if we do, then indeed we shall be living concretely, actively, living hope to, and therefore have a chance of becoming a nation of compassion. A nation that will be daily and sustainably and forever blessed by God. I spoke from the heart. And so I ask you to bear with me as I pull myself together. In the next and concluding episode to this commencement of this our series, we are going to talk about the how. How do we live the living hope? What is it that indeed we must do to make our hope a reality? To love our fellow citizens, to work for our great country, to earn and justify and allow God, as He so much wants to do, to bless us. He can never bless in isolation. Every living person on this earth is a child of God. It is when we make the conditions for His blessing suitable that He will bless. So our call to all our brothers and sisters in this country, to everyone watching this show, let us come together and allow God to bless us. Let us come together, have compassion for our brothers and sisters and fellow citizens in this country. Let us aspire, perhaps someday, to be known as Nigeria, a country made up of compassionate people. I thank you. See you next time.
Walking through the ashes of dreams we left behind, building walls between us in the corners of our minds. We've lost the love we're owed, the kindness we've misplaced, but the hope is in our hands to rewrite this broken space. So lift the veil and clear the smoke. The cracks will mend where hearts are broke. We're stronger when we reach across. No more sinking in the loss. The light ahead, it's not too far. If we become the change we are, look beyond the shadows cast. We'll build a future made to last. If we become the change we are. The land our father saved is being sold off piece by piece. Leaders count their riches while the hunger never sleeps. The dreams they promised us have faded in their lives, but the power's in our hearts to reclaim what's been denied. So lift the veil and clear the smoke. The cracks will mend where hearts are broke. We're stronger when we reach across. No more sinking in the loss. The light ahead, it's not too far. If we become the change we are, look beyond the shadows cast. Let's build a future made to last. If we become the change we are. Become the change we are. Oh, the light ahead, it's not too far. If we become the change we are. Oh, so lift the veil and clear the smoke. The cracks will mend where hearts are broke. We're stronger when we reach across. No more sinking in the loss. The light ahead, it's not too far. If we become the change we are, look beyond the shadows cast. We'll build a future made